Welcome back to Naval Action and episode 78 of A Letter to the King. If you're new to the series, this is my attempt to keep us up to date with what's going on the global server, the server that never sleeps. Now, 78 marks the beginning of a new era in Naval Action. And it is the beginning of Clan Wars, and the map has been reset. This is actually a post that one of the guys pulled down from the test server. It's essentially the map on day 0, and what you'll see is that we've all been stripped back to a small number of starter ports. So the Swedes have got a couple, Danes have got 1, I think. The Dutch have got 4. The Brits have got KPR and Belize. The Spanish, obviously La Habana and a piece of the Gulf. The French, New Orleans and a bit of the Windward Islands. And the Americans have got the north of Florida, or the US coastline. And every other port has been flipped back to neutral and is available for our capture. When you capture it now as a clan, you can choose to keep it as neutral or flip it for your nation. The difference being, of course, who can come in and leave from each port. And each port generates a certain amount of income, a variable amount of income, as it's proved to be told. Mrs. J's chopping children in the background, I apologise. So let's have a little look at... Oh, look, here's the pirates. Let's not give away where the secret islands might be. Just noticed that. So let's have a look at what actually happened. Well, first of all, as far as wars are going, I've left everybody as a neutral non-aggression because there's nobody attacking each other's ports as yet. We're all too busy land grabbing the freebie stuff off the AI. Now this will change over time and it will be interesting to see how it changes. So let's have a look at who's been doing what. I've no idea why there's a little French flag there. They've just snuck in. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? So the Americans have made quite a strong march all the way down the east coast of Florida and around to Islamorada. I suspect they will carry on into the Gulf. We'll have to see. They've grabbed up an island or two, but predominantly they've been focusing on just marching down the Gulf and eating these ports up. The pirates have been spreading out a little bit more. They've taken Santiago, they've taken and on Cuba proper, they've taken can't remember the name of this fella, but on the north of Haiti, and they've grabbed up a bunch of the islands that they didn't start with. So the pirates have been reasonably active, but it does appear that one of the major pirate clans is either having a rest or still playing another game or something, but they don't seem to have come back in the same super organised numbers that they were prior to the wipe. The Danes grabbed up a couple of local ports, including one of the what seems to be one of the most profitable ports around this neck of the woods. And interestingly, the Danes have started marching on to Haiti early doors. So they've got themselves a footprint into Haiti early doors. Swedes, at the time of going to print today, the Swedes actually hadn't captured ports yet, but I have noticed they've got 2 set up for the next 24 hours. So we will see the Swedes begin to make a march or a mark. The Dutch have grabbed a couple of ports, extending their base 4. And of course the Brits have been busy. The Brits have grabbed a few ports, Georgetown, and set up strongly around the Belize area and set up strongly around the Bluefields area, and have begun working around the Banaka and Ruatan areas as well. So at the moment it's all kind of a bit of a free kick. When you attack a port, it's defended very lightly by the AI, so you actually only meet 6 ships in a port battle, and those ships are basically commensurate to the type of port. So it's Mercury's for a shallow, it's mostly against Constitutions for a normal, and Vix for a line ship. But again, there's only 6 of them, and they're AI, so they're pretty herpa-derpa. So it's pretty easy stuff snaffling a port. And the rewards are, of course, you now get to control that port, and you get to tax it, and you get to keep the tax. But you do have to pay 100,000 a day maintenance on it. If you don't pay the maintenance, the port flips the next day, so you better have some money in your clan bank. The income from the ports goes into your clan bank, but equally the maintenance costs. So if you own 10 ports, you've got to have 1 million gold in your bank should those ports not return any income. And we'll talk about the income a little bit later on. And the Spanish are back, and they've captured a port. In fact, they've captured 2. Can't remember where the other one was. I was so excited when I realised the Spanish had picked up a port. So the Spanish are back. I think perhaps an infusion of players drawn by the glory of Dave has led to port capture by the Spanish. Very exciting. Now, there's not really many sort of hot spots. Most of the PvP that's been killing people has been taking place around the sort of south to mid-tip of Florida, and there's been a little bit around the Belize, Contoy, Tumbado area, and a little bit around Mortimer Town. The main, or the fun one, around the sort of the classic Kingstons and places like this, because there's now reinforcements available. So if we just quickly go back to that first map, whoop, there we go. These starter areas are all backed up by what's called a reinforcement zone, and if you're sailing in the reinforcement zone and you're attacked, you get a little box appears in the top right hand corner of your screen. You know you're in the reinforcement zone because it tells you, you know, it sort of says you're in the waters of Cornwall or whatever, and it will say reinforcements available, or if you're in the middle of nowhere, it will say reinforcements unavailable. If you get attacked, a little square box appears in the top left hand corner, and if you choose to, you can call for reinforcements. Now, I don't know why you wouldn't. Maybe because you like a bit of PvP and you think your trader's brig is going to give this surprise a run for its money. But just in case you don't, you can click on the call reinforcements. Now, I happen to be going to pick up some sugar so that Mrs. J could make me a pancake from St. Anne, and I was just coming around the corner here, and a young excitable Danish chap in his new Le Harmonie, the very, very pretty, beautiful boat, decided to attack my Indiaman. Now, that in itself is reasonably brave, given the fact I've probably got 3 times as many crew as him. But a skilled captain can sit on your backside and grape you down, and maybe he would have captured me. Now, I could have fought the battle bravely, perhaps losing my Indiaman, and the fact it had no cargo on might have made that worth doing. But I thought, for the sake of testing, I should push the reinforcements button, so I did. And 2 first rates. Now, I have to say I was horrified, being British, that they were Santissimas. I've written to the King a separate letter, not this one, you're not privy to that one, to say I was appalled that we've hired dirty Spaniard bloody mercenaries to patrol our waters on our behalf. 2 Santissimas popped in. They popped in bloody close, I'd say 200 metres away from the enemy, and perhaps rather annoyingly for me, they popped in just behind me. They then dutifully opened up on said Danish player, and I think he'd lasted almost 2 full broadsides. He may not have even lasted that long had my ship not got in the way of most of one of them, so they took my bowsprit off, my mainmast, and half one side of my hull. It was lost in rather quick and thunderous friendly fire. However, he lost the entire side of his ship, and then about 5 seconds later, the entire structure of his ship. I had a little chat with said sinking captain, who went, "Oh, that's rather shocking." It was his first day back after months away, and he was very excited to give his little Hermione a run out and give a Brit a biffing. So he met a sad end, but I did manage to, for him really more than myself, I did manage to rescue his repair kits and his run. So all was not lost. So yeah, be aware attacking anybody if they've got reinforcements available, because those reinforcements are big and they're accurate, and they're only there for one reason, and that's to kill you. And I think for some players this is really going to spoil the seal clubbing of traders around national waters, but for me, I'm okay with it. What it effectively does is it changes these areas into sort of noob-friendly zones. So if you want to go and kill a Jeheil as he's trading around here or trading around here, well, good luck and come and get me. But if you want to kill baby Jeheil as he's learning how to be a trader dude, and leave him alone, you bastards. He should be able to do his stuff around this neck of the woods. So that's the port battles. There's, like I say, the open world hotspots probably around here at the moment. This will change. There's no, I'm not calling any clan v clan stuff. The only thing I'd point out is not all ports are equal. So for example, if we pick, say, a port like Contoy, it might earn 60,000-70,000 gold a day, perhaps, as an average, and it's completely variable based on player trade, which is a bit pesky on global because we haven't got enough players, I don't think. But then you'll go to somewhere like, I think it's Road Town or one of the ones over here that the Danes have got, and it must be one of the ports that they're using to get a lot of their materials for their shipbuilding, because this thing is pulling in 250-300k a day, so it's you know, making good money for them. But the prize, the jewel in the crown at the moment, is Cartagena down here, and that's of course because that's where the magic tower comes for the magic upgrade that everybody wants on their port battle shop. So there's always orders in for 100,000, 150,000, and those orders get taxed. And so this place is pulling in 1.5 million, 2 million a day. Now, I think over time we're going to discover that some of these ports are very lucrative ports. Some clans might make them lucrative by doing good trading in them. And that will make the ports good targets for acquisition, if you like. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. So there's no real storm clouds at the moment. I guess there could be one here. I should have put one here. The Spanish are clearly in the way of the American advance as they come round the Keys. Now, just while we're here, for folks, I play with a guy who lives around here. For folks who live in this part of the world, good luck to you at the moment. I know there's been, you know, from Houston all the way round to more recently Florida and of course the Keys. Good luck to you guys. And folks living in these areas here, wow, what a smashing they've taken in real life. You know, jump on a website and give a bit of cash, guys, because hard yakka for these poor buggers. So in summary, and it is really the first week, so I'm not going to go into glorious super mega deal about the fantastic port battles, because they're all against 6 AI ships, which is hardly enthralling. I actually think it should be more than 6 AI ships. I think there should be, it should force you to sort of be able to get 10 boats into the water, be it yourself or your matey clans. When you go into a port battle, only your clan can participate, or clans that you have befriended through the interface. So Unity 5 is certainly good. I think everybody's FPS is better. We've had the benefits of the new ships, of course. We will get a lot more capabilities because of Unity 5. Has been a bit crashy. There's been a lot of people crashing out of missions, and that can be a bit scary, especially in the first-rate missions where you end up with pesky AI capping your boat. But in general, I think it's been a reasonably good patch. Not that many bugs. We had some bugs with the timer on the ports being set because they had a queuing mechanism of 3. If we were setting our port at 8 PM for us Aussies, it was sitting in a queue, not scheduled yet because we were behind the other people's battles. And then instead of being set at 8 PM, it was being set at the time the first port battle finished that got us into the queue. Well, they seem to have fixed that now by basically not putting a queue limit, certainly on global, for the number of port battles you can at least run up against the AI, and that's helped. I have to say, a huge victim of this patch right now is PvP. It was always rare as hen's teeth. Now it's as, I don't know, rare as hen's molars, I don't know. But it's way down because, of course, all the clans are grabbing up the local ports and creating their own little realm. The new ships are nice, the Wazza. It's interesting, the stats on the Wazza. I'm going to do a review on the Wazza in a week or so. Just I need to let the devs let it settle in, because otherwise I'll do the review and 2 minutes later the nerf bat will come out and then my review will be even stupider than it would be. But I'm going to do a review. I'll start on the Wazza. So funny, it turns pretty good, the Wazza. It's certainly got crazy bonkers guns. I mean, essentially it's got third-rate guns on it. It's just having sailed the Aggie for so long, and even the Connie. Although on paper that it's meant to outturn the Connie, it doesn't seem to outturn the Connie. Me and a mate were sailing in Connies and Wazzas and doing coordinated turns and stuff, and the Connie still turns inside the Wazza. I think its long-range gunnery is probably the superior of the fourth rates, but of course it does take longer to reload, and it's very difficult to maintain in a port battle a sort of 300-meter gap between you and the enemy, because the enemy will just close the gap, of course. And side by side, a Connie versus a Wazza or an Aggie versus a Wazza is pretty close, actually. And again, I think that comes down to the reload rate and the number of crew that, of course, you need to man the Wazza guns. And I think it may be a little bit more susceptible to crew damage because the guns are a higher caliber and need more time. So it might be one of these ships where it's great at the start of a battle, but when you're all biffed up and you're lower on crew, it just might not do quite as much. But we'll see. It's certainly a good ship, and they've certainly made the fourth rates. I think they're all viable. I don't think you should go into a battle now with 25 Aggies or 25 Wazzas. I think you probably want a bit of a mixed fleet. The Connies are certainly manoeuvrable and quick. The Aggies are certainly strong and a very, very steady firing platform. And the Wazza is definitely a brute with its third rate, with its 2 sets of guns that are just real high caliber guns. Raising hostility is, it's a billion times better than stupid waiting for idiot fleets that never turned up, or they did it with 2 Serbs and a pickle, and there you are in your 5 fix. Interestingly enough, you can go into any hostility mission in any ship. You will meet 10 Mercuries if you're trying to raise hostility in a shallow water. hostility mission, you'll meet 10 Agamemnon noms if you're doing it for a fourth rate battle, and you'll meet 10 glorious victories if you're doing it for a first rate battle. I would say that 2 Wazzers will do a shallow one without any problems at all. It's like fighting children. It's great fun. If you're doing the fourth rate battles, then 3 second or third rates is a comfortable number. If you're doing first rate battles, probably 4 first rates is a comfortable number. You can do it with less, but you just got to be better, and you probably need to take some rum, especially the fourth rates. The fourth rates really pride themselves on sitting on your ass, and they single shot snipe you, killing like 3 crew at a time. And I've done battles in my first rate where I've lost 600 crew, and actually been capable by the end of it by one of the fourth rates if they've been good enough. Now, the other thing with the hostility missions is they stay open forever. So if you do see hostility being generated in an area, get into that area and find those cross swords, and you can join that battle if you want for a bit of fun. And like I say, the hostility missions stay open forever. But there's no real, at the moment, incentive for the sort of PvP. There's no real PvP hostility meta other than players flooding into the same area. Now, this might happen a bit when enough of the white ports have been eaten up a bit. But because you can run hostility up so quickly in a mission, it only takes an hour and a half, and that's if you do 4 missions sequentially. If you do 4 missions all at once with a decent group of 20 of you, you'll run hostility up in 20 minutes. And really the enemy won't know it until it's too late. I actually think the minute a hostility mission is taken, there should be, against a port you own, you should get a notice like a flag popping up that Nation X has taken a hostility mission, and then you should get another message when they've actually begun it, so you have some chance of getting out there and finding them and giving them a bash. But anyway, that's just my thinking. There's quite a few comfort changes. They've reduced the weight of the materials used to build a ship. They seem to have incredibly increased the amount of ballast. I don't ever remember having to make 400 and something ballast, and it's one of these stupid ones you can only make 30 at a time. You can teleport now into free towns as well, so that makes life pretty good. The new ships they've brought out at the moment, 2 of them at least, you can change combat marks and just buy a note for them and magically generate yourself a ship. I hope they change that so it's craftable soon. But it's a good way of getting wazzers in the water, as it were. The reinforcements are just funny. I'd imagine if you're Billy Bob, the pirate who likes to sail around seal clubbing idiots, it probably feels like your fun's been taken away. But if you're just a little numpty sailing around and you're a bit scared and a big nasty pirate comes, you can push the button and many first rates will fall out of the sky magically and join your cause. I do think we'll see the emergence of super clans. I have seen quite a few small clans, with only 4 or 5 players take a port. They're going to struggle to take 2 ports because A, they're not going to be able to defend them, and B, then they're going to have to be able to pay for them. Although I have to say the hostility missions are super lucrative. If 2 of you in first rates do a 4th rate hostility mission, you'll earn 500,000-600,000 credits each easily, and 5 or 6 dozen conquest marks, and 1,200 to 2,000 experience. And indeed the fleet missions are equally good. I just did some solo rear admirals to give it a test. In one of them I got 2 Bolognas. I was in my Lucien. I absolutely spanked the 2 Bolognas. I earned 300,000 gold and a bit of XP, so that was very good. I think the port ownership idea is a great starter idea. I think they need to do a million things with it. People should be able to build up defences. They should be able to hire AI defenders, so that if they're not there, then, you know, empty spots are filled with AI or some bloody thing. They should be able to build buildings and all sorts of stuff. I mean, this could be the reason to be if they get this port ownership thing right. I think perhaps you should be able to change the factories and the stuff like that are available in a port and get rid of some and create others and so on and so forth. Perhaps even put special import contracts to bring in special goods from Europe or whatever. I think there need to be more dynamics in the economy. The economy is a little bit simple now. Again, it's very hard to measure this at the moment because we really haven't got enough players on for a true player-driven economy. But, you know, if the devs can settle on what they're happy with from a meta model, then they can start enriching it. At the moment, of course, they keep changing their mind as to what that core meta model is, and as such, it never gets enriched. It's good to see some new players kicking around. It's also great to see some old players come back. We've got a couple of guys in the clan who probably I haven't played with for almost a year, so that's great that they're back. Now, will the momentum that we've had this week, and there has been quite a lot of stuff going on, will it last long enough for us to get away from stealing white ports, which are easy, to actually attacking each other on global? Dunno, I hope so, but there's 250 bloody free ports left, which seems too many to me, but anyway. And will there sort of become a bit of a fight over 2 or 3 prize ports? Cartagena de Indias is a great example. You know, it brings in 1.5 million, 2 million a day. Well, it's hard to tell. That on the float over, it tells me it brings in 2.0 KK. Thank you, Russians. So I think 2.0 KK is special Russian for million. We'll have to find out. And I suspect that the maintenance costs will effectively cap growth. Because very simply, if you run out of money in your client bank, all your ports will return to neutral instantly at shutdown. So therefore, you have to be able to sustain your money. And what it means is that if a clan gives up the ghost or changes sides, boom, all the ports will go within a day. Yeah. So I think that's plenty of prattling on for this week. We'll have a quick look at what the port ownership tab looks like. So this is what it looks like. These are the ports that my glorious clan is currently managing on behalf of His Majesty. And then you click on one of them and it opens up and it tells you that yesterday it earned nothing. Well done, Great River. I think yesterday was the Sabbath. The people of Great River are strong religious types who spend the whole Sabbath praising the Lord. However, today was Monday and it's time for some shopping. And so today we'll see that Great River will actually return us a profit of 35,000 gold, which is good. Now we could raise the tax rate. We could let dirty non-nationals sail in without a smuggler flag. And we could also increase production or make building in the port cost less, but in doing so it would raise the cost of the port by 10 and 20% and 10 and 20% depending on how much you raise it. And of course you can always abandon the town if you want, if perhaps every day is the Sabbath and they don't generate any money and it's costing you too much money. But yeah, there you go. So that's what it looks like to be a port owner. Look at all these lovely colours that they've used. It's lovely interface, most unlike Naval Action. And here's the tally, and we'll see here that the British, they've picked up 19, the Americans 14, the Spanish, huzzah, have picked up 2, the Frenchies have picked up 1, the pirates have picked up 10, the Danes have picked up 8, the Dutch 1. Bloody Swedes haven't got out of bed yet, but I think they'll snaffle 2 up tonight. So that's it for this week's Naval Action. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'll see you on the ocean, and I'll catch you.